Hey everyone, welcome to this video assignment and feedback video. And in the assignment, I'm going to talk about some facial features, and you can do along or make your own versions yourself. So I'm going to start with the ear and then the nose and then the eyes and the lips. So hang on. So I start with drawing here these sides like this here, and you could also start in a box, meaning what you also could do is you could start with a box and then draw these lines in. So maybe you start with the box and then you can start adding here these shapes in. And if you're doing really anatomically correct, you could have all these positions mapped out, but especially with more cartoony characters, it's just somewhere here. So once we have this, we can start. Yeah, you can remove these the box, and then we can start sketching some lines in it. So a line here, 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 and here, and then a line here, going here. So the most big part is here that this distance and this distance, this is wider and this is narrower. Just let's do narrow. Maybe I can push it a little bit more. So something like this here. So that creates a more interesting feeling to it. So you have this instead of this. Contrast, going for contrast, going for contrast. So that's always what I try to go for. Yeah, so here, let's call this ear. Push this here. And once we have that, that ear ready, this one, we can start adding a line in here, something like this. And then you can start adding some lines like here, like this here. And once we have these, we can start inking it or cleaning it up. So maybe depending on the style you're going for, you can also go for a way more realistic style, so adding a bit more details. Maybe try to study some real ears and see if you want to go really realistic or more cartoony. But it doesn't matter that much if you're going to do realistic or this. The main thing is that you choose what kind of style you want to go for. So here, adding a little bit of some corners here to fit that that style. And then we can also add, although I don't like this line yet. Ears are funny, right? If you're going to look at it. So I can take this and I can start adding some, could add some colors to it. Some skin color. So first start with this. Oftentimes I just pick a color, and then I can start adding some colors to it. So maybe, depending on the style you're going for, you can also go really realistic or more cartoony. But I prefer start with this. something like this here, fill this here. Like this. And maybe change it a little bit. And let's pick a darker color, change the UV a little bit. And then adding some shadow here and here. So, like this here. And then filling this here. And then here this part. And let's make this a bit lighter here. Some parts here. And let's make this like this here. Maybe some, that's feeling in my own ear where that hole is, maybe somewhere here. I don't like this color that much, so maybe make this, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. Maybe this, maybe just darker, that will get a little bit dirty. Let's see, what could I do? Maybe, does this work? Maybe something like this here. Yeah, this works a little bit better. Maybe you can make this pattern a little bit dark. Maybe black. No. Yeah, I think this is for now. This is fine. So yeah, that's how I draw an ear like this. And yeah, sometimes you can also use this in drawing in a box in perspective. But I first want you to do it like this here. So this is something you could do. And let's start drawing a nose. So most easy way to draw a nose is by using three shapes. So let me start with drawing the nose first with these shapes. And it's not that I always use these shapes to draw anything, but especially when you're starting out, it's good to understand how to yeah, use these kinds of shapes. So here we have this nose, and this part, and then here this here, like this, and then we have this line here. So we have this nose shape, and then we can start drawing in some more details. Here this part, still trying to think in those 3D shapes. So plane here, so it's almost like your 3D modeler, right? And then here we have this shape, maybe a little bit more like this here. We're changing here these kinds of shapes a little bit. And you of course have this shape here, then this shape here. So we're adding a little bit more, yeah, making it a bit more organic. So then maybe even here, although you probably won't see that here. So more organic. And here using shapes. And this makes it easier to draw in different angles. And that's why I usually start with those kinds of shapes. Yeah, so once you have this one, you can start drawing the sketch on top. So erasing these lines a little bit. And we can start making the lines on top. So here, here, then maybe a piece here. So here, so something like that. So basically, this nose consists out of some shapes like this one here. This one. And then we have this shape. Shape like this here. And then we have this shape here. But basically, let's just say it's almost a ball, something like this here. So here we have these shapes. So yeah, finally you can start erasing these lines, or maybe lighter, and then draw on top. Something, yeah, something like this, and then you can start adding some color. Here for the shape, and yeah, it's just a really simple nose, really straightforward. So something like this here. Here. And then we can start adding some shadows. Like this here. Maybe some shadow on the side of the nose. So still thinking I'm a little bit about those sketch I did earlier. I'll show it in a bit. So this here, maybe this part is dark. Of course, there's some shadow here of the nose. Maybe there's some light here. And maybe some small flare here. So yeah, that you think of that sketch. yeah, here those planes. Yeah, think of the construction. So yeah, this one for shadow and light. I can make this one a bit smaller and push this here. So these lines out of here. So that's also why that 3D is useful. So you can have this here. And shading this here. It's lighter, and maybe this is maybe somewhere in between. This is really light. Maybe there's some white here. And then, for example, the light source. This, get these noses up a little bit. Oh, here these. Oh, there's this one. Yeah, we can put these ones here. And we can push this little sketch here. So yeah, that's basically how I draw a nose. And you can try to make some variations of these noses. Go crazy. Mm. So next we're going to draw lips. So here you can start by drawing a line. And I'm going to start with drawing the front view. And then basically a bit smaller. Oh, I hate those things. How can I always forget how to remove these stupid things. So, let's leave it for now. So it's here. And then we can draw a ball here. So just like this. And then from that ball, you can either do a couple of things, but now I'm going to draw two lines going like this here. So once we've done that, we can start drawing a line under here. So like this here, or maybe even bigger. And this is something you can play around with, and then you can start adding here these shapes here, and maybe it's like this here, and then here this shape here, and then here. And depending on how detailed you want to go, you can also add subtract a line here, like this here, meaning that, and then you can start drawing on top of this, so erasing these lines a little bit, then start adding some more lines. So this is quite detailed. So rarely I draw lips this detail, but it's still good to know. And then these undersides, making them a bit round. And you can really play around with the proportions to make endless of variations of lips with this. So then we can erase these lines here. Also here. And then we can start coloring it. Let's go for red lips. Like this, and we can actually shade adding some shadow at the bottom. Try to think in those 3D shapes, maybe some shadow here, maybe some highlights here, or maybe here, here. So something like like this. So that's how I draw lips, and try to make variations. I also try to make middle lips and try to find these steps that can help with drawing your. Oftentimes when you're drawing characters, you're not going to go that much in detail, but sometimes you do, especially with these yeah, female-like lips. So let's start drawing an eye. So starting with a shape, basically like this here. So what you can see is that there's a line going like this and a line going like this here. So if we remove these lines and we want to figure out the eyebrow, what I usually do is I take this point going here, and then also a line going here, going up here. Then you sort of know that you want a bit wider than that, maybe, yeah, maybe one eye high or something, and then you want to draw this S kind of shape here. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So if we move this one up, and you're gonna remove this line here, this line here. We don't need this one. Now we can start sketching in an eyebrow like this here, and maybe some eyelashes like here. So, like this. Let's put this beneath here. And now you can start drawing a line here, and some line here. So imaginary this ball shape. So you can add these kinds of lines, and we can draw the iris. And I often, yeah, let it go. Don't put the whole thing. A little bit of overlap there. Overlap. Space around. Subtle lines, subtle lines there. So once I have that, let's erase these ones. Yeah, you can erase these shapes here. And then draw in these lines here and there. And let's just, yeah, inking these parts, sketching on top of this here. And then here, this line here. And then here we have this, this eyebrow. And then we can draw this one here. Sure. And then you can start coloring the thing. And this here, this might. And then here, giving these some color. And maybe some highlights and some shadow and so on. So yeah, go ahead and make some variations of these things. And this is how I draw eyes. And this is also something you can do in perspective. And I'll show that later. But that is the eye and mouth. So yeah, and go ahead and play around with these things and try to see what you can come up with. So now let's move on to the feedback. So here, let's start with this one from Kate. Made this really cool one. So let's just draw on top of it. And I'm not going to change the perspective. I personally would maybe added some perspective, but maybe this is the style you want to go for. So yeah, let me just go on top of it and see where it goes. And then I don't know if you would like it or not, but that's something. Yeah, maybe you can decide for yourself what you want to take from me and what not. So these eyes, I think we can, if we let her look at the duck, maybe it brings a little bit life to the drawing. So here, and then here we have these eyes. And then maybe these lips, maybe mouth a little bit open. I want to add some life in the drawing. I think the drawing looks really cute and cool. So my goal is try to see if we can strengthen that. And I want to push it by going to add some life. And that's really subtle and something difficult to explain. So I want to show it. So here, changing these hair parts, trying to find some more interesting lines and overlapping lines like I'm showing here. And then maybe here's the tangents. So what I want to do is maybe push this a little bit downwards and then this a little bit upwards. So you have this hair behind there and then here this shape going like this here. I'm trying to find some nice S shapes into the drawing. Maybe this hair like this here. So you can see this, there's this flow I want to go for. Then maybe there's some hair behind her. No, I don't know. Maybe there's some hair going like this. No, I don't. I do like this line here over the shoulder. There's some overlap. So here, and then let's see for this duckling. I want to make that maybe something. Okay, really cute small duckling. I really like this hand. This is the small finger, so something like this. Good job on that. Maybe add some blush or something because it's an old bed. Maybe you can add some bells or something. So something like this here. And maybe here this tail. So like this here. And maybe some angle like here. And then we can have this bed tip. Maybe I would have add some more perspective, maybe just only this maybe. So here. This and then that hair. Let's see. Maybe we can do something something like this. I'm not sure about that hair hanging out of that tip. Maybe see how what would I have done? Maybe something like this, more maybe a bit more simpler or something. Oh, this is kind of hard. Maybe something like this. I'm just really not really sure about that yet. Maybe there's some shape here. I'm really not yet sure about this part here. I would maybe leave it in or something. Maybe there's some hair like this going around like this. I would think maybe do something like this here. Maybe even like this going more behind there. We also have this nice curve here. And then here we have this star. Looking there. So I would maybe add some space there. So this character looks really great. You like the style. I like that these eyes are looking at her. So that makes it coming alive. So maybe here this feet, maybe you can do something just a little bit like this here to create some depth in it. So you have this angle here. So trying to think about 3D space here, even with a more flat illustrative style like this here. Let's look at this character. Maybe you can add a little bit of a line of action to this character. This character's leaning forward. So here, and then making these eyes going here and here. And it's holding this towel like this here. And like here. So now it's looking this direction. And then here's towel. You can have something like this. So some yeah, small things. Maybe here these fish are also, maybe you can change these fish a little bit. You don't have to make them really detailed or something, but maybe something like these things. And since everything has some personality, you don't have to make them super detailed. Maybe something more like this, maybe a fish like this here. I'm not really that happy with it, but maybe you can play around a little bit with it. Or maybe I need to look up those fishes. How do they look like, right? So something like this here. But yeah, great work, Kate. Keep it up. I hope this drawing over helps you a little bit with thinking about your style and how would you like to do things. It's also up to you. I just give you how I approach these things. But yeah, great work. Let's look at these ones from Gia from last week assignment. So these looking really great. Keep yeah, keep checking the proportions, like the hands and stuff like this. But yeah, the drawing is really great. Keep focusing on that structure beneath these drawings. I think that's really important for you. And this feels really solid. If I'm drawing these shapes on top of it, I have the feeling you understand those solids. So I hope you also sketched like this. I think some proportion-wise, you could try to stay a little bit more closer to the originals. These arms seems really big compared to the head, etc. So maybe that's something you can check out and play around with. I don't have much to say about it otherwise than that. I would just say, yeah, try to focus on the proportions. Yeah, that would really help. With the construction seems really great. Maybe try to draw your own characters with this construction set. Change the hair, change the type of characters, maybe base it on someone from your family or friends. So I do think if we make this head already bigger, maybe something like this, that would already make it better. The same for this character. Maybe, although they seem going towards a bit more realistic than I do. So that is also fine. And that's your own choice, what kind of direction you want to go. But yeah, great work on this. Let's go to Frank. And with this, I think it's with a pumpkin character or something. Really like these stories and these dresses. Mm. Yeah, let's just draw over it. Let me just try some things to push it even more. I would make maybe this even bigger. And maybe put the hair here. It's like a crown, right? So maybe make it a bit more crown-like or something. And then we can make these eyes, let them go downward so that it feels, because this feels happy and this feels sad. Sad, happy. So when character's crying, I would do this. Then here we have these eyes, making this arm stand out a little bit more like this for a clear silhouette. And then this maybe here the shoulder is hanging, this arm is hanging, something like this here. And we have this handkerchiefs even on the ground, really pushing this. Maybe even make this dress a little bit smaller or something. So we get more, we push this pumpkin more and more. So maybe something like this. And I really want to bend it more. So maybe even push this dress more somewhere here. So she's almost falling over because of the weight. I think that helps with the feeling. And I want you to push on that feeling and push that more. Although, yeah, it depends on the style you want to go for, right? I think your technique is really great in your style, but I think you can push this a little bit more. But maybe it makes it too cartoony. So ask yourself, what do you want it? Make maybe really quick sketches like this to find out if that's something you want to go for. But I would maybe make this push this even all these things a little bit more. Maybe add here for this pumpkin, or maybe add these shapes more. Make it more pumpkin-like here with these kinds of shapes here. Yeah, and push these angles a little bit more. I think you can really, yeah, be a bit more rough and play around for that feeling and push. But yeah, great work, Frank. So to last feedback was a little bit short, but I think uh, on the proportions, something you can work on and keep working on the construction. Go make your own character or make these characters in different poses or something if you want to. And for Frank, yeah, yeah, keep. I really hope to see maybe a couple of sketches or something where you try to push a character and like maybe some sketchbook or some napkin doodles where you just try to get that feeling and story across because you always have a lot of story, and I think we can see would be cool to see that more in your drawings. Really try to push it more in your drawings. So yeah, thanks everyone for sending your work, and I hope to see you again next week. Feel free to do the assignment and send it to me. Yeah, if you're a patron, and then you can see how to do that if you're a patron on how to send feedback. Thanks everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.